Hi. Okay, so this lesson is on meditations and cultivations. So you have the two books, which are there for you to learn the different cultivations. Both of them are just replete. I mean, you practice even 2 or 3 of those consistently enough in your life, and I promise you, you're going to be hitting some very high realms. Decoding the Tao and Tongzhi Nenen Gong Shu are 2 books that are just unbelievable. Wang Liping, who wrote the Tongzhi Nenen Gong Shu, was he's a 19th generation Taoist priest. I'm the 21st. You may be a 22nd one day, and all of those things come from our school of Taoism, the Complete Reality Dragon Gate School. So good luck on those. But now we're going to get into the internal cultivation. So let's talk about superior and inferior De. When we talk about superior and inferior De to cultivation, it's the same thing as Yo Wei is to Wu Wei. So in the beginning, when you're practicing, Qigong, you're doing this and you're doing this, and oh my goodness, we're Qigonging away. Look at us, we're Qigonging, right? Okay, this is inferior De. Why are we moving our hands? We're using our mind, our body, and the Qi, but remember, it's intention leads the mind leads the breath leads the Qi leads the magic. So when we're practicing this, what we're doing is we're patterning our mind, our breath, our Qi. But as long as we have to wave our arms, we're doing inferior De, and it has its place. But it should be ritualized enough in us that what happens eventually is where we can be sitting on the city bus, we could be having a conversation with people, and we can get our Qi going. One of my students once said to me, so you're telling me we can automate this? And I said, of course, everything can be. When you walk outside and the sunlight hits your skin and the vitamin D is produced, and the vitamin D unlocks the calcium, and the calcium, all the phosphorus and all the other elements, that's all automated, isn't it? We don't sit there and go, vitamin D and vitamin, we don't do that, right? It just happens. That's called superior De, where it doesn't require effort, it's not contrived. But you have to do contrived to get to effortless. You have to do Yo Wei to get to Wu Wei, as we discovered. So we're going to practice these cultivations. There are 12 of them. There are Shen Gongs, which we practice for our spirit. There are Qi Gongs, which we practice for our Qi. And then there are Jing Gongs, which we use to build our essence up. Each one of these, I'm going to explain a la carte to you, and the a la carte-ness of this will allow us to produce a desired effect in a medicinal, emotional, spiritual way. But there becomes a point where if you put them all together, this makes the corpus of physical cultivations which will allow for the internal alchemy. So, in lesson 7, you learn the internal alchemical process, and I gave you the first 100 days of foundational for pulling up and drawing it up, and then on lesson 8, I gave you the last 100 days. Now, some people will tell me, I did that and I got some effect, or had this amazing experience, but I really didn't feel like it's not something you do once, it's got to keep doing it. Why are you reading the scriptures, which is the next lesson? You got to do it the 9 revolutions. That would be 9 years for some people, but revolutions can be the revolutions of your Qi as well. And everybody has a little bit of different timing. Some people can do it very quickly, some people don't. It doesn't matter how long it takes. Time is not an essence here. What the essence of it is that it gets done. But when you practice these cultivations, 2 things are happening. One, you're patterning the way Qi, Jing, and Shen interact with each other, and the channels, and the muscle layers, the collaterals, all of those type of things. You're patterning them so that they free flow and you have a bit of peacefulness. Remember, if our Jing and our Qi are not high enough, Shen is fettered and disturbed. We need to keep our Jing and Qi high in order that Shen is free now to go to the realms where it can do its own expansion and cultivation. Internal alchemy does not take place in the body. There is a physical portion of the internal alchemy, but that's just so that the consciousness can be free enough to go on to the higher realms of consciousness, because that's where the actual alchemical process of mortal to immortal, base to priceless, that's where it happens, in consciousness itself. But the body has to become the lesser stone, which is the pineal and the pituitary have to release the viaticum and the light in order to make the body capable of receiving that. Basically, bliss generator. But that in itself is only a milestone, it's not the end result. The end result is you seeing yourself and experience yourself as an immortal, and then from there to experience the universe as the universe itself. That way, the duality is completely erased, and you experience everything as not two. When you put this entire corpus together that I'm going to show you, what you're going to be doing in each one of these things, if you pile and layer them on exactly as I'm showing you, what's going to happen is you're going to build the jing, you're going to build the qi, but I told you there are two things it does. One, it builds the jing and the qi, but the other one is you're not going to be in your head out there doing crappy things, right? If you're doing your cultivation, you're not out causing problems for yourself and people around you. You're not out there running around with stories in your head. You're not out there using emotions as a drug in order to stimulate you through life, because people become addicted to their emotional states. That's not what we're here for. What we're here for is specifically, as we do these cultivations, we're learning to center and align heaven, man, and earth, and to start to get rid of this external stimulus, which we know as the five thieves in Buddhism and Taoism. These external stimuluses are so great that they distract us from the reality that it's all inside of us. Everything we hear, see, smell, taste, and touch are all inside of us, not outside of us. When we turn our gaze, we reverse gazing, as it talks about in the scriptures, then we start to see the realities of inside of ourselves. In the next lesson, when we get to the scriptures, we're going to deal a lot with the daily internal practice of the High Lord Lao. And we'll discuss a lot of things that we're doing here, will get discussed in that one. But for right now, let's begin. The first thing we're going to learn is something called Hun Yuan. Hun Yuan, Hun means primordial, like Hun Yuan, the primordial chaos. Hun, and Yuan means original, like the original qi, Yuan qi. Hun Yuan is the primordial originalness. This is the congenital qi that when mommy and daddy's eggs inseminate, that spark of life, the original qi, the congenital qi, we're actually going to be building that up. Now there are 12 sections to this. I'm not needing you to do all 12. If you want all 12, I suggest you get the complete Qigong section series from Ken Cohen, who I believe is the most prolific Taoist as well as Qigong master in the West. Gao Han is his Taoist name. He's phenomenal. But the sections that I'm going to take out of this are the 4 sections you need. So it's only 4 out of the 12 that you need for this. You can learn the rest if you choose to, but these are the ones necessary. So let us begin. We're going to start what's called Wuji posture. So the feet are just a little more than shoulder width apart, palms of the hands. So Lao Gong pointing down, kidney bubbling spring. You want to put your weight on that. Okay? You want to breathe in. You need to relax your entire body. If you're holding tension in your body, you're holding meanings. We need to let go of the meanings. We need to let the qi go here. The hands will drop down, open up. And the hand is going to go over our head. Now, if you know Chinese medicine, you know where Du 20 is. If you don't know Chinese medicine, take your fingers at the apex of the ear and go all the way up to the crown of the head. That's Du 20. Go 1 finger or 1 thumb's width in front of that. That's 1 sun or 1 inch. That's Du 21. Chongding. That means an inch in front of the crown. Actually, it's not that big. Anyways, you put your hands there and you want to imagine, you want to visualize bright, clear light going to Chongding, Du 21, going over there. And you want to feel that, and you want to see that, and you want to impregnate that. That has a huge impact on your nervous system and the physiological body. You take a deep breath in, and you want to push down, and as you exhale, everything below your hands here is going to be turbid, dark energy that you're pushing down. And everything above is all clear, beautiful, brand new qi. The qi we breathe is called qing qi, or clear qi. And it goes into the lungs and it mixes with gu qi, or grain qi, or food essence, to make zong qi, pectoral qi. But we're going to use this to now clean the body out before we start working and tonifying the yuan qi, or the hun yuan. Once the hands get in front of the navel, you want to stop. The liver, underneath is the gallbladder, the spleen, the stomach, the small intestines, the large intestine, the heart, and the lungs, the kidneys. In between all of these organs, there's chi that's not being used because we don't move and stretch and all. So what we're doing here, at this point, we're stopping and we want to open up and relax and move our abdomen. And what we're doing there is we're releasing that chi that's been stored or stagnant or pent up there. And we want to feel it being reabsorbed into the organ it's surrounding. I just want to stay there for a second and just let it be reabsorbed. And also to relax yourself. And then you take a deep breath in. And you want to press the rest of the turbidity out the knees, out the fingertips. We come back to Wuji posture, so let's do that again. All that bright light on Chongding. Bring down. Turbid chi being pushed down, clear chi above the hands. Stop here. Let the energy be reabsorbed into the organs. Push out, push down, out the knees, out the fingertips, shake it off, and come. And we'll do it one more time. We're just going to go a little faster in the interest of time so we're not dragging this out. And then down. Go as fast as your attention can feel and perceive the energy. And then out. When you're done, you're going to take, if you're a man, you're going to take the right hand and put it just below the navel and the left hand over. For a woman, you do the opposite. Some people say, but Shifu, I thought when you do Qigong, yes, you're right if you're doing a Qigong. This is Hun Yuan Qigong or Jingong, and we're trying to find the Yuan Qi. I'm a male, so Yang Qi is what I was born with, predominantly, theoretically, according to Chinese medicine, and therefore I'm putting that one there for this one. For the other Qigongs, you're right. Left for the man, right over it, and opposite for women. But for this one, it's right hand for men, left hand for women, and you put it there and you hold it, and you want to just sort of let that energy, the heat, coalesce under the hands. You feel the hands being a lot more warm, and you feel that, and you want to just sit in that. And when you're done, you'll know when. When you're done, you just take the energy, push it down, out the bottom of the feet, breathe. Breathe in again, up, push down, press the energy through the bottom of the feet. It's the torus. It's the Taurian energy that you're doing. You're kind of moving it so there's nothing stuck. And then when you're done, go back to Wuji posture. So that's one of the four. Okay, the next one we're going to do is, we got rid of all that turbid chi, right? We put some clear chi in there. Now we're going to pack more in. Now, as Taoists who are going to be ordained, I'm going to ask that you respect the sanctity of my teachings to you by certain things you do not share with somebody who is not living as a committed cultivationist or part of our lineage. Okay? Everyone knows upper Dantian, middle Dantian, lower Dantian. That's what they teach. On the outside orders, yes, you teach that, but you do not teach. That is not how Taoists actually practice it. So one of the rare Taoist secrets is that this is the upper, this is the middle, the perineum between the genitals and the anus, that point, Ren 1 for the acupuncturist, or Huiyin, that point is the lower Dantian. So why the disparity? Well, if you're a guy or a girl and you're putting the awareness there, if you don't practice constantly and move it, that energy can start to congeal there. If that congeals, the blood congeals. If the blood and chi congeal, and you get phlegm, you can, in fact, it has been noted in Chinese texts that you can create testicular, cervical, possibly ovarian cancer. We don't want that. A cultivationist who's very dedicated to this can be trusted to constantly maintain their practice. The outside world, we don't know that. They don't make commitments. They don't make lifelong commitments. So you put it here. If you put in the lower dantian here, this is a big bowl. It's designed to hold qi. Can't really stagnate very easily. And it's no harm, no foul. If you put it down here and you don't pay attention, there's going to be problems, okay? So one, middle, lower, okay? Okay, so start off in the Wuji posture. I'm going to turn a little bit to the side here so you can see what I'm doing. I'm going to lean forward. I'm going to grasp the qi, and I'm going to bring it into yin tam, bring it into the third eye. I'm going to bring it into the upper dantian. I'm going to hold it for just a second on the inhale, so read. Holding it for a few seconds. Now you may notice you rushed your head or whatever to relax. Take the energy now down to the middle dantian down here. This is designed to hold qi. You can pack qi in there all day, it's fine. Don't leave it in your head, you're gonna have migraines. If there's a problem, if you go to the top of your hips to your spine and go 2 vertebrae up, that's Du 4, Ming Men. That's the safety release valve. Anytime that there gets energy stuck in the head, you put a tennis ball there on either side of the spine, and that will act as a safety release valve, or if all necessary, put your feet in hot water, put a thing of frozen peas or an ice pack under your head, and that'll cause the qi to go to your feet and away from your head. That's the safety instructions for this flight. Okay, so bring it up. The last one. And down. Okay, now you do the middle one. There's nowhere to take it, so you just leave it there. So you're packing it in. Again. One more time. And there's 3. And leave it there as long. And again, I'm doing it a little faster. You go as slow as necessary for you. Now, last one, you're going to kind of sort of take a left or right leg, doesn't matter, but kind of open it a bit because you want to give space in the perineum. Men, if you're doing this, it doesn't matter so much. Women, if you're doing this, try to make sure the gate to the vaginal opening is closed. It's an old Chinese thing. I've looked in several places to kind of go the why. I haven't ascertained anything concrete. But on erring on the side, if you're going to do this naked, just put a pair of panties on, okay? You take the hands, you come over, and you want to hold the energy at the perineum. Now you can make the ball as little or as big as you feel sexually comfortable with. But you want to hold it there. And then you don't want to leave it there, you want to bring it up to the middle dantian here. Again. Last time. Okay, and now you close like before. And you go back to the Wuji posture. Okay, so that's 2 of the 4. Now we're going to do the third one. So, at the base of the spine is a pump. At the top of the spine, there's a pump. Inside the head, there's a pump, craniosacral pumps. And this is the water wheel that the little boy and girl are sending the dew, the jing up the dew and the chong channel into the head. There's a base of the skull, down below the cerebellum, there's a structure. It looks almost like the Ark of the Covenant from Indiana Jones. And it produces something like a colostrum, and it goes down the spine when you're doing your internal alchemy, as long as you're not like a spider monkey losing all your jing all day long. And then it goes back up, and that's that's part of the internal alchemy. Well, this is going to help those pumps, because in a later particular one we do what's called Kan and Li, or the fire and water, we're mating those, which is part of the alchemical process. We're going to bring that up into the brain. But right now, we're just tonifying and getting those pumps ready. So what we do is, it's called skin and bone. What you're doing here is you have your hands in between your head, and you want to, in front of your face, and you got a ball between them, and you got a ball inside the brain where the pineal is. And so what you want to do is, as you expand the ball in your hand, the ball inside your head expands, and it's pushing out against your skin, okay? It's making the skin come out. So, and as you exhale, you're pressing and compressing that chi that you expanded the ball into the bone. So there's 8 cranial bones. You want to compress that chi into the bone. So skin and bone. So, and exhale into the bones of the head. Again. One more time. You take the ball down in front of the dantian. In this, the lower dantian for the outside world, the middle dantian for us, you're going to see a ball like the size of a grapefruit right in the middle of your body, but underneath the navel and the back, right in the middle on all sides, equilateral. And you're going to do the same thing. You want the skin to expand. And as you exhale, you're going to compress that chi into the spine, into the ribs, into the chest bone, into the arm bones. All of these bones, you're just going to compress that in, because the bones become the hollow tubes for the bellow breathing, that at the end of this, you do bone breathing, which is extremely important for the internal alchemy process. Your bones will be nice and clean and ready to receive that chi and send it along the marrow. So, all right, that's the middle dantian. Now, again, you want the ball to be at the perineum there, and you want to expand it, make it as big as you're comfortable with. We'll see how your insecurities work this time. And exhale it, and compress it into the lower part of the spine, into the pelvic bones, the hip bones, the greater trochanter, down the femur, to the tibia and fibia, and the feet. And again, you go back to this position here. You might feel in your body be kind of buzzing. That's because these pumps are pumping the jing up and the chi everywhere in the body. And that's what this is about. It's about tonifying and priming the pump for the middle kananli, or what they call da kananli, the greater. And the last, so that's number 3 of 4. Now we're going to do the last one, number 4. So you can start with the left foot forward or the right foot forward, it doesn't matter. And you want the hands, I'm going to turn to the side here. The hands are going to be palms up in front of the hip. So the Du channel goes up the back, over to the top of the lip. The Ren channel comes up and they meet there. The microcosmic orbit, which most of you probably already know, goes in a circle around, up the Du, down the Ren. Well, we're going to in fact work on that. So we're going to come up, and we're going to bring it up the Du channel. So our hands are going to go up and like a D away from us, and it's going to come up, and we're going to bring it to the top of our head, to the third eye, and then as we exhale, we press down and it goes down the front, up the back, down the front, and up the back, and down the front. 3. Now, we're going to go in the opposite direction now, up the front, and down over, down the back. Last one. So we've gone up the back, down the front 3 times. Now we've gone up the front, down the back 3 times. Now we're going to, so if we had our left foot forward and our right one back, now we're going to switch right foot forward, and we're going to do the same exact thing we did before, just with the other foot forward. So up the do, down the ren, up the do, down the ren, up the governing, which is the do channel, down the conception or the ren channel. And now we switch it, up the front, up the ren channel, down the do. Now we've done that 3 times. Now, that was the original ending of the 4th one, but it's since, because of Ken Cohen and his master, he's Gao Han, his master Gao Fan, added this to it. The original Grandmaster Fang Lao Shi basically saw it and was like, yes, let's do that, that works great. So after you do it on both sides, you come back and you go up the do again. 3 times, just like you did at the very beginning. And then after that, you stop, you switch, and you go up the front, up the back again, down the front, up the back. So what you're doing is, in essence, up the back, down the front 3 times, switching and reversing it 3 times, and then making it go again the front ways 3 times, and that's it on both sides. When Feng Lao Shi was kind of like, first asked, why do we do it forward and backwards? He goes, I don't know, it's what we've always done and it works. So Ken Cohen, being the magnificent person that he is, he worked it, and then he kind of got the idea. So when he added the last part and went back front again, he said, think of the do and ren like a chain, like a bicycle chain, and those get clogged up. They're like super highways of qi. That's our solenoid that makes all the qi in our body, the governing and the conception, positive, negative poles. And he said, so when we move those and go forward and backward, it's kind of like a plunger. It's like a bicycle chain going backwards, breaking off all the stuff and the yuck and kind of sort of plunging out all the stagnation and the yucky stuff and making it go in both directions, sort of make sure it free flows. But then you want to add the last one to make sure it's going back in the right direction again. And it will flow freely after that, and it has a much better effect. So that itself is also a Taoist secret, you could say. Probably not best to share that with too many people because that could get you into a contentious argument, because so many Qigong masters out there, they just know everything. And never argue with a fool, or you just prove there too. But Ken being world-renowned and having worked it myself, I can say from my own experience, yes, that does work. Okay, after you get done with the last 3, come back, hands here, hands again here, and then you're finished. When you're done, you close it, and then those are the 4. Okay? So, clear the chi, the turbid chi out, put the clear chi in, the pumps, and then moves the chi and get the vein channels clear backwards and forwards, and back and forwards again. Okay? All right, this is the first of 12 sections, and we're going to keep going on, but for right now, I'm going to leave you with this. So practice this as applicable. 3 is kind of the minimum. If you can only do 1 of each of the 4, a day or whatever, because you're just too very busy, get less busy eventually, but do 1. A little of something is better than a lot of nothing. 3 is kind of where you're kind of going. Maintenance would be great if you did 9. If for whatever reason you get really sick, like, mono or who knows whatever happens in your life, 36 is a great medicinal number, and people say, that's a lot. You ain't got shit to do, you're sick. Stop bitching, just do your damn Qigong. But this has helped people with pancreatic cancer, lung cancer, with miraculous effect. And I'll tell you guys that story probably in a Wednesday meditation one night, okay? All right, so 1 of 12, we'll keep going on, okay? Talk to you soon.